Hello, everyone, and welcome to Wavez Weekly, my new series where every week I'm going to upload and talk about video game news and just what I think about events going on in the video game space. If you watched my last video, you know I like to create video essays and talk about unique aspects of video games. I'm going to upload videos like that monthly, or at least try to. What I'm mostly going to upload is Wavez Weekly, where I, just talk about video game news. I'm probably going to upload more than once a week just for consistency. But it just kind of depends. But I'm definitely going to upload weekly no matter what. But what I really want to talk today is the optimization of arc raiders. It's a Unreal Engine 5 game, which surprises me how well it's been running. And while I have gotten a new GPU and that could contribute to a lot of my performance, especially using like DLSS 4 and a lot of upscaling methods, even when turning them off, it still runs at about 80, 60 FPS, but when I turn DLSS on, it's obviously in the 120, 100 range with not even that much latency, to be honest. I read this article every once in a while called Digital Foundry, and it kind of brought me to mind to talk about this in this video, and it's how they strip back on all the engine effects that Unreal Engine 5 offers. And I think if, developers can actually learn how to use Unreal 5 and use the kind of philosophy Embark has, then the video game industry could be amazing with Unreal Engine 5. I mean, I still would prefer in-house engines and stuff like that because it's just much better to play on an experience like, let's say, Resident Evil engine, where the engine is specifically defined for that game because, the developers are making it to push out the exact aspects they want out of it. But Unreal Engine 5 is an engine made for various type of games, but it's kind of like the PS3 at launch. It's like they don't know how to use it yet, or Unreal Engine 5 in this case is mostly just made for consoles right now. Because when you try to play stuff on PC, obviously it's going to push you to put on all these scaling effects, DLSS, and it's mostly due to them using all these like shadow and graphical effects like Lumite and Nanite that Unreal Engine 5 has to offer. And of course, if the developer knows how to use this and use it to an advantage to where it's not that much of a performance toll, then I'm all for it. Like, it just makes games look better, especially single player games. But when you're having these new games come out, like Metal Gear Solid 3 Delta, PC players are having to spend, 30 minutes to sometimes an hour just tweaking with their settings to just make the game look and run better. That doesn't have to, scale the resolution down or put on an upscaler or something like that that affects the latency a bunch. And I mean, of course, it's been like that for years for us PC players. Like, we've always had to tweak settings and stuff like that, even if it's just like, oh, let's tweak the settings to higher because, my PC can handle more. But it's not like that with Unreal Engine. It's you having to literally strip back despite your PC being more powerful than most modern day consoles. Like, you're having all these new graphics cards like the 50 series, and they can't even run games above 70 to 60 FPS without having to use DLSS upscaling or DLSS frame gen. While console players can you just boot up the game and it's all running good for them. But they probably they have performance modes like the performance mode where there's 60 FPS and in the quality mode where it's 30. And that's not bad at all. It's just the problem for PC players with new games, especially on Unreal Engine 5. It's just more about performance rather than the game looking good. And there's more than just arc raiders that have used Unreal Engine 5 greatly and optimized it across all platforms, not even just PC. And we even got like some Unreal Engine 5s running natively on Steam Deck at a really good frame rate. One notable game is that new RoboCop game that came out, and while I'm not too interested with that type of series, I read about it a little bit, and it hits about 30 stably, which for UE5, which is a very new, very modern engine, you wouldn't really expect it to be able to run really above 20 on the Steam Deck, but the developers were able to optimize it. And with arc raiders, I mean, they didn't really have a choice when it came to optimizing. It had to be performance because it's a multiplayer game that has a lot of PvP and specific aspects that require the game to run good because most people are prioritizing performance over graphical quality. And with all these studios having to, cut their budgets or not use in-house engines or create in-house engines because it requires a lot of money, they go to Unreal 5, and they're not to blame, but when they cut back on certain features that require it to run better, it just makes it seem lazily made and is almost a lose-lose for everyone, because even console players, they want to see the game in the highest graphical fidelity, but they can't see it in 60 FPS, which I know for some people 60 FPS is a must, and 30 FPS just doesn't cut it for some. And going back to about DLSS and frame gen, I don't really mind it too much. I think it's honestly helpful in some games, but when you have to put like it on 4 times or even like the new 4.5, latency could just get in the way, and it just kind of doesn't make sense for you to have to use all these big upscaling methods for your game to even look and run well. But a game that I have been playing recently, and I also use as an example on my unique gameplay of Death Stranding video, is Dying Like the Beast. I do have to use DLSS 4 just because I feel like I want to see the best graphical fidelity of this game, and I want to put my new 5070 to the test. But the latency really isn't that bad, and I haven't seen many stutters or frame drops really at all. And, you know, it doesn't look like FSR where the whole game looks AI generated. It just looks normal. Like, it looks like it's running natively, even without upscaling methods, and even when you just kind of forget about it, it doesn't really seem like it's there. And I think many modern day games can benefit from it, but when it comes to new multiplayer games and you have to turn on DLSS for it, that's a problem, because sometimes, you know, latency can be a really big issue when fighting. It can affect your aim, it can affect the way you play, your movement, stuff like that. But in modern single-player games, it's not too much of an issue. When there's a lot of latency, yes, it's an issue, but a lot of single-player games, which I tend to play a lot more than multiplayer games, it's not that big of an issue, especially when it's not really noticeable and the latency isn't too bad. And there could be other issues besides latency. There could be frame drops and just not rendering that good, and unrendered frames and stuff like that, especially when it scales down to a really low resolution. It can't look that good. But I don't really see that because, you know, NVIDIA has done, I would say, a pretty good job with DLSS lately, and I haven't really got to use 4.5, but 4 has treated me well, and it just results in good performance for games. But the fact that we even have to have these upscaling methods in the modern day is kind of an issue, but we've gotten to a point where we kind of had to accept it. But, you know, as long as I can play and enjoy my games, I'm not complaining. And switching away from DLSS and the optimization of arc raiders, I really want to talk about Death Stranding 2. If y'all watched my last video, y'all saw that I'm really in love with Death Stranding. It was a great game, and I had to make that video about its gameplay just to show a hidden aspect that nobody really talks about. But I haven't even played Death Stranding 2, and that's mostly due because I actually sold my PS5 to get the PC I have now, and while I do regret it sometimes, I'm very glad I have a PC because I have access to much more exclusives and playing games and new lights that I've never been able to play before with mods and stuff. But DS2, ever since I played DS1, I wanted to play Death Stranding 2 so bad. I saw the trailer. It was insane, and I can't even wait any longer. And I know this upcoming week, this video is probably going to drop on Sunday, so this week, Death Stranding 2 could be announced at the State of Play for PC, and I really hope it does, but I might just buy a PS5 just to play it, and maybe Yote, because I've heard some good things about that, and I really love Ghost of Tsushima. But I also do have a pretty stacked PS5 library that I want to get back. But DS2, I've heard so many good things about, and I'm trying to avoid all spoilers at all costs, and I really hope that it's announced at the State of Play, because it's been about I think 7 months since the drop of DS2, and that was about how long it was until we got the announcement for PC from 505. And, you know, there's the ratings on 505's website from ESRB, so that definitely shows something. They accidentally messed up by showing the ratings and all that stuff, but we can very much get the announcement and then get the game dropped on Steam about in March, but I can't even wait that long, honestly. I've been wanting to play it so bad, but it's also incredible how 505 is still showing like incredible support for DS1, because like if you play DS1 regularly, you could see on the Steam page they have from Porter's perspective and all like the photo challenges. It's crazy because that game released I think in around 2019 for PC or 2020, I think early 2020, yeah. And they're still just giving it so much support despite it just being a single player game, which is insane. Um, but yeah, that's kind of all I really wanted to talk about. I really want to keep making videos like this where I kind of just rant what I think about stuff going on in video games while also talking about a little bit of video game news, just informing you what's going on in the scene and sort of the issues and just my general opinions on what's going on in video games with some just chill gameplay in the background. Um, Hope you all have a great day and I hope you all enjoyed. Tune in for the next episode of Wavez Weekly, and yeah, that's about it.